Buckles here?
Right now, no.
Jim, not that you don't want to score every time you get the ball, but do you take more chances? Do you have to when you know you're going to play a team that's going to put a lot of points on the board?
Do you take more chances?
Chances, yeah. I mean, is there more chances knowing you're going to have to score probably more than you normally would against?
I mean, we always consider who we're playing and what we're doing when we're making our decisions on whether, I think you're asking, do you go for it on fourth down, some of those situations. You always have to factor in the opponent, but you also have to factor in the defense. There's a lot of different things that go into it. It's not it never has been. I never look at it as a pure statistical thing. The statistics say that 62% of the time you're going to convert, so you got to go with that number. I think where you put them, are you going to put that guy back out on the field? I know Coach Belichick had one a couple years ago where he went for it on fourth down in his own territory because he didn't want to give the ball back to Peyton Manning, and didn't get it. But his thought process was if we punted it, he was going to march the field anyway. So I think sometimes you definitely have to take the opponent into consideration when making this decision.
So your defense hasn't been beat downfield a lot on a lot of long throws. A lot of the yards against you guys are underneath stuff. So yeah, so far. So do you see the problem is more not getting off blocks and wrapping up tackles than it is coverage?
I can't answer you in one question or one answer that is. I think that you just can't do that. You can't say it's this. If it's one thing, if it was just this, then we would work on that and fix it. I mean, it's a combination. We got people in the third and long the other night, and they threw a nice little screen, downfield screen, and on 3rd and 17, they made blocks and made a play. And other times it's, we're a step away, we're there, but the ball's on the back shoulder instead of the front shoulder. It was a great location pass by Alex, and we just missed tipping it. So it depends on the individual situation in that particular play. We really give you a specific answer on what it is, but you just can't look at it and in one sentence say it's this. Because if it was just this and one sentence was the answer, then we would fix it and work on it.
When you're going against a quarterback like Manning, I mean, how important is it to have a good pass rush on him and everything? That's pretty obvious.
Not that important. I mean, we actually didn't even think of that. I mean, it's in everything. I mean, but the one thing with Peyton that you realize is that you just can't do one thing against him. I mean, he's just such a great mind at the quarterback position. You may say, hey, this blitz beat him, but if you beat him the first time on the blitz, he's going to come back and beat you on that blitz. I think you got to try to give him different looks. You got to try to make sure, but you also have to try to make sure that your disguise isn't a liability where you're so far away from your work that you can't get to your work. So yeah, we fooled him because he didn't see the blitz coming, but we're not close enough to the receiver to now be in coverage. So there's that cat and mouse game that's going to go on. So, again, you're talking about playing against one of the all-time greats.
Going off what Jeff was asking you about keeping a tight end, which you said you're done. Do you feel like this is something that your quarterback's taking a lot of hits that you need to do more of and just keep more guys in more frequently?
No, I mean, if you look at it, there's times when we've had 7 guys in protection and Mike got sacked. They run around our left tackle. So, sometimes it's just, you got to give them, it depends, again, on each individual situation. You can look at it. There's times when Lane gave up a sack where he thought the guard was with him. So he could get beat inside, but the guard wasn't with him on the inside. So there's not one answer that is the answer to say, you can get everybody to go back on this particular play. If we had done this, that's great, but we can't do that, can't go back. So do we keep a tight end in protection? Do we use 7-man protection? Yeah, we do use it. So.
Is part of the sacks also a function of perhaps holding the ball a little longer than maybe we should?
Just answer that question. It depends on which one you're talking about. There could have been a sack where Mike held the ball too long. There also could be a sack where we're on 7-man protection and he thinks he's picked up and he gets hit at the top of his drop. So.
How's Mike's overall?
No, I don't see that as a pattern. That's a good question. I don't see that as a pattern.
How's Mike's overall decision making been on specifically the read option plays?
Good.
What is a good kind of percentage for, obviously you want him to make the right decision 100% of the time, but is there kind of a level that he'll get to later in the season as he does it more?
No, I don't know where you're going with that question, but I think Mike's done a really good job in our zone read game. And I know the one perception out there is we don't run as much zone read as everybody thinks, so there's a lot of times where Mike's handing the ball off and carrying out a fake, and people think it's a zone read play. It's just a run play that's called, and he was supposed to give the ball 100% of the time and gave the ball 100% of the time. So just every time Mike is in the shotgun and hands off doesn't mean it's his own read.
So does there have to be an unblocked defender? Is that what makes it a...
It depends on how the defense is deployed. Sometimes there's never an unblocked defender because they only got 5 guys in the box. So we block 5-on-5. So that's not a zone replay to us. That's a gift of all situation, and carry out a good faith and see if maybe they somebody with the secondary on the play.
How's the health of the zones yet?
Vic and McCoy are fine. They're 100%. Pat won't practice today, so we'll see where he is, but I know he's out today.
When
Hey, you go back.
practice?
Everybody's out. Everybody's practicing except for Chunk.
When you go back and look at a guy like Manning, who has obviously a long history on film, or when Bill does, how far back do you go? And do you focus on teams that play similarly to you defensively that he's playing against, or do you simply look at his most recent body of work?
We've gone just to the Broncos tape, so it's a different system. There's some carryover from the Colts, but you really got to see how they're performing. And I think even more importantly, they didn't have Wes Walker last year, so how different is the offense this year with Wes as a receiver as opposed to last year. So you're still going to say very recent.
Are you just as interested in looking at games where he does well as in games when he doesn't do well?
Yeah, the games he doesn't do well, there's not many of them, so you can get through them pretty quickly.
Peyton commented that it was nice of the NFL to give the Eagles 10 days and the Broncos only 6. Any thoughts on that? I mean, is that a nice edge to have to get the extra days?
Scheduling out, when do we go play? We're going to play in a parking lot, we're going to play in a parking lot, we don't care. We played 11 games in three games in 11 days, so I don't care. That's got nothing to do with it. We only worry about what we can control, and we don't control the schedule, so.
Is Chunk still in the sling, or do you think he might be
No,
able to
he's not in
practice?
a sling, but he's not going to practice tonight.
What about this week? Do you think he might be able to?
I'm a day-to-day guy, so I know he's not practicing today, and if he practices tomorrow, I'll make sure I tell you before we start. Or we'll be out this one, yeah.
When you mentioned how they didn't have Walker last year, and sort of changes things, how much is it radically different what you're doing this year?
No, it's not radically different, but you're also talking about one of the all-time great receivers, and I think his ability to control the middle of the field and really create some mismatch problems for you, and challenges you from a personnel standpoint. You end up having a linebacker on him, which at times is a big mismatch just because of Wes's athletic ability. So, to have that type of guy that can play between the two outside guys, between Becker and Harrison, it really makes it difficult. Just because of the way he understands coverage, and there's a lot of times when you think, hey, that's pretty good defense, but he still comes up with a big play on him. So.
You've run the ball well on third down, but struggled throwing it. Mike's 7 for 20 on third down. What are you seeing when you're looking?
Third down in general, or short, long, medium? I mean, we break it down specifically into.
Yeah, he's 7 for 20 overall.
Yeah, because a lot of it ends up being third and long. So I think that the differences on third and long and the completion percentage on third and long.
CNQ.
Third and short.
Thanks, guys.